I'll answer the second one first because I think that's the easiest. If they do talk about it in January, no chance it's being released in January. That's got to be an announcement and then a release later on down the line. Now, will we actually see it in January? Man, here's what I'll say. I think it's very possible that Apple plans for it to be in January. Now, will that actually happen? I don't know. Because like you kind of mentioned, the whole story of 2022, at least part of it, was that this headset was supposed to be here this year. But along with that was a bunch of other rumors about what we were supposed to see this year that were, I mean, obviously they didn't happen, so they weren't confirmed or anything. They were clearly wrong. But I think, at least my hunch, is that Apple did have these plans initially, but the state of the world, the state of the economy, things just had to switch and change. And I think that the headset was thrown into that. Now, the question is it going to be ready in time for January? I mean, obviously, I hope so. I want this to be the case, although a January timeframe is just strange to begin with. Apple doesn't really do that, or at least I haven't really since Macworld. So maybe they're just bringing that back. That could be interesting. And I guess since it's a new product, if that's all they talk about, then it's not that weird for them to have a new, different time frame for when they announce it. But I still think that whenever they do talk about it, whether it's January or WWDC or some other event, I still think it's going to be here's what we made. Check it out. How awesome this is. It'll be here in a few months. This is just a sneak peek. We have to explain how this works, why you need it. It's a full product announcement, but then, it's not quite ready. It'll be here this date. And maybe they'll even do what they did with the Apple Watch, where they announced it. They showed us all the features. They did everything, but they didn't even tell us the price until another event where famously they told us the gold Apple Watch was $10,000, and they kind of just, hurried that one along. But I think maybe the Apple Watch is a good way to look at how this would be rolled out, where they talk about it and then they do another update at a different event and then it finally gets released. I think that makes the most sense. And I think we're still thinking, what, $3,000 for this? And that's assuming the economy stays relatively where it is now.
I think I saw somewhere that I saw $1,800 thrown around. I don't know if that's for this or not.
That sounds awesome.
A lot of figures thrown around. The other question too is, how long can Apple really sit on this? Like, obviously they're waiting for multiple things. Maybe there's like stuff behind the scenes that's just not ready, but at a certain point, they're going to wait so long that either somebody else is going to come out and announce something cool. Well, Apple always is able to eclipse other people, so maybe that's not the case. But the tech is going to change so much that they might need to retool stuff. I feel like, I don't know where they are in the production process and the research process and this stuff, but I feel like they need to get it out sooner than later. This is just, it's like the AirTag. That was like the never-ending rumor for 2 years. So hopefully January is the time they clear the deck, they start the year off fresh, and I agree with you. I think it's an announcement. I wouldn't be surprised if they do this. We're going to announce it in January. We're going to give an update at WWDC for developers, and maybe we don't see a launch until the fall. Do they say we're going to, the headset will be available later this year? They'll probably just say, like, we'll have updates on it later, but we want to give you a sneak peek. Wouldn't be surprised on that. So that's, I think, the consensus as far as what we know right now.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the only question I have for that, like, if that's the way they do it, which I think makes the most sense, it's what they've done with other products. If it's a, quote, sneak peek, will that warrant its own event in January, or would they tack it on to another event in March? I don't know. I guess there is a lot to talk about with it, so I think it does warrant its own event, but I feel like that wouldn't really be a sneak peek. It would be a full-on launch. It's just not, we're not going to talk about when it's going to be available.
Maybe they don't call it sneak peek. Maybe they call it like, remember the iPad invitation was come see our latest creation. It's got to be like some kind of like, hey, there's so much to cover. Here's what the hardware is. Here's what the software is. Here's how it works. And they probably end it with like, and we'll give you more information later this year or something. Like, I don't know how they're going to phrase it, but there's definitely enough here that's going to warrant at least an hour of like, let's sort of spill our guts and show you what we've been working on. So we'll keep that in our back pockets. Hopefully that comes out. It's just like I said, it's the rumor that like never ends. We keep hearing it get delayed and delayed. So we'll see what happens. What is much more exciting and news we heard today is that according to...
Not more exciting. Come on, hold on. I got to stop you. It's not more exciting.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. At least it's more tangible and real.
Yeah,
we know this is coming rather than... Okay, look. Cards on the table. Headset's way more exciting than any Apple product currently in the pipeline. Can't wait to see this thing, but who knows when it's coming. So, Hey, you! Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Apple Circle podcast. If you want to check out the full episode, hit one of those videos right here, and also hit the other surprise video to see a surprise clip from the Apple Circle podcast. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Apple Circle audio feeds and on all your favorite podcast platforms linked down below. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the main Apple Circle YouTube channel linked right down below.